Welcome to another episode of Morning Momentum. Today I want to talk to you about the quality of time. I think you're going to enjoy today's episode. Let's jump right in. Time. It is a very interesting subject. How time and the routine process of life intermingle is extremely interesting. For instance, on average, the heart pumps 377 liters of blood around your body every 60 seconds. And it beats more than 100,000 times per day, so that by the time you turn 70 years of age, your heart will have beat 2.5 billion times. If a person sleeps for an average of 8 hours per night, they will spend approximately 229,961 hours sleeping in their lifetime. That amounts to, realistically, about a third of their lives. I'll admit to you that there are some scientific aspects of time that I sincerely cannot even wrap my mind around. According to Fascinate.com, the faster you move, the slower time goes. According to the laws of physics, you will actually age more slowly if you travel extremely fast. If you were to fly at 99% of the speed of light into the star Sirius, you would have aged less than 2.5 years on arrival. Now finally, we found the secret to the anti-aging saga. It's not a cream, it's just travel real fast. Einstein's theory of relativity states that the closer one is to the Earth, the slower time goes. A year goes by 15 microseconds faster at the top of Mount Everest than it does at sea level. I have no idea how any of that is even possible. That part of time is far too complex for my small brain. But I can understand the truth of the great American novelist Nathaniel Hawthorne when he said, "Time flies over us, but leaves its shadow behind." Because time is that item of our life that we all know is constantly slipping away, how many times have we heard some semblance of statements like, "Time is precious, don't waste it"? All of us have heard those things. We know that time is truly something that is a use it or lose it quality. Just a few days ago, at 2 a.m. in the morning, every person within the states that participate in daylight savings time experienced this very thing. We sprang forward an hour. We lost time. We literally lost some time. But I guess the good news is we gain it back in the fall. Now, we waste time. We lose time. We even lose track of time. So here's just another reminder. There are 31,556,926 seconds in your year. And how you spend them absolutely matters. No matter your age, your income level, your bloodline, human beings can only function in one time frame. We don't have the power to go ahead or go back 5 years, 10 years. We can only live in the now. We have to invest our now extremely wisely. In his book, It's About Time, Leslie Flynn has a piece entitled, "If you are 35, you have 500 days to live." His premise is simply this: when you subtract the time spent on sleeping, working, tending to personal matters, hygiene, odd chores, medical matters, eating, traveling, and other time stealers, in the next 35 years, you will have the equivalent of only 500 days to spend as you wish. Now, with this in mind, I think it's important to consider a very powerful point that a minister friend of mine once shared with me. He said, the New Testament has 2 words for our one English word time. Those New Testament words are simply chronos, which means time governed by the clock, and kairos, which means time measured by special moments. Now, we would probably just be safe in describing or defining these 2 different words simply as this: chronos is quantity time, whereas kairos is quality time. The key is that you have to take advantage of kairos, the quality time, at the moment it happens, or you'll lose it forever. And the only way that happens is if you give plenty of chronos, which is quality time, to those greatest priorities in your life, such as your family and things that will leave an eternal impact. I've said it often to our church. I've said, invest your life in those things that will outlive you. Now, I'm simply praying today and hoping that this will help you somewhat to really understand we must be incredibly intentional with how we plan and how we spend our chronos time. That time that is governed by the clock and the calendar. It's important how we spend that time. Now, to drive home the importance of planning and giving time to the ones that we cherish the most, Christian author and counselor Gary Smalley once said, life is relationships. The rest is just details. I wrote in my book, The Handbook, that life moves at the speed of relationships. It's very true. Today, I want you to take a few moments and evaluate how you've been spending your time. Do you need to reprioritize your time? Now, when we look at life, when we look at the relationships, when we look at the things that truly matter, what is keeping us from investing our time wisely? I'm going to leave you with this morning. There's a lot I could say, and we may pick this up a little bit later in another morning memento, but I want to leave you with this. In the early 90s, there was a song that was entitled Believe, and there was a single brief phrase in that song that is probably one of the most thought-provoking phrases I've heard or even read, and the lyrics go like this: I wasted my time till time wasted me. I want you to consider those lyrics. And then I want you to consider the immortal words of the Apostle James when he says, whereas you know not what shall be on the morrow. For what is your life? It is even a vapor that peereth for a little time and then vanisheth away. Don't let time waste you. Spend it wisely. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here on Morning Momentum.